Welcome back. In the pots today, I've got a brand new colorway for you. This colorway is called I'm Turtly Fine. Absolutely love the colorways that got just a little bit of a play on words. It's turtly my thing, you know what I mean? So basically what we got going on here, we've got some nice dark black going in on the right hand side. Yarn's already in the pots. We've already got a little bit of soak in there, not a ton. There's about 1 full cup. And then we're going to do a little bit of black on the other side. We want lots of mixing here. We're not going to do any ridges. We're not going to do any valleys. We just kind of want to let everything do what it's got to do. And then we're going to splash this bright, brilliant blue right in the center. Absolutely beautiful. Black and blue, it just sounds right. It feels right. Everything about it is right. Now on the other side, we're going to take and do something a little bit different. Now the brilliant blue that we have in the pot here, this is basically just straight brilliant blue. It is a very vibrant blue. I want this to cook off, but it doesn't really matter if that blue bleeds a little bit because we got a lot of black in the pot as well. So it's not really going to expand too far across. When we flip this yarn, you're going to see that there is definitely some blue left in the pot, and that's not a big deal. We're going to cook it off at the end for a nice long while. Make sure that that blue gets set. So that is the biggest difference. I know people have asked in the past, what happens if you don't cook your yarn long enough? Exactly that. That blue has a tendency to take and come out. Black has a tendency to hit and strike quite quickly. Blue has a tendency to take and bleed a little bit. So just so you know, that is what we got going on here. This yarn only cooked off for about 7 minutes on the one side, and then we're going to probably do a good 15 minutes on this side, just to kind of get everything up to temperature and make sure that that dye hits, strikes, and stays. We don't want it to bleed. Now on this side, we're going to do the opposite. We're actually going to hit that brilliant blue all over top of the black. You can see that black's kind of come through on this side a little bit, so we're going to get some shading, basically. That black is going to play with that blue. We're going to get some dark blues, some light blues, and it's really just going to create some depth in the pot itself. And that's one of those things that we get to do. You know, it doesn't always have to be just the colors that we're working with. We get to play with the colors that are already in there and let everything mix, kind of do its thing, and really just surprise us with some brilliance. So basically I have 3 colors in this pot, but we're going to get a whole bunch of shading from it as well. So you got that black, you got a little bit of gray, you got that blue. Blue's playing with the grays and kind of get the steel blue going on. It is cool. Now, at the end, as I always say, get your fingers in there, get them dirty, get that dye mixed up, pushed down, make sure that everything is coming to. And like I said, we're going to cook this off for a good little while on this side. We don't want any bleeding when we take and pull the yarn out of the pot. On the flip, not a big deal, but we want to make sure that this is set. So as we pull this yarn up, I don't think there's going to be, well, there might be a little bit of blue left, but I bet you the pots are pretty darn clean. And that's due to just cooking them for a nice long while. You can see how much steam's coming off. Yeah, absolutely. Crystal clear. Exactly what I was hoping for. Beautiful. So we don't have to worry too much. We're going to get this into the soak, or not the soak, the rinse, get it dried up, and then it's time to twist it. So this here is our chunky weight base. It is 100% merino, and I am fairly certain it is made from clouds. It is super duper fluffy. Love this stuff. Just kind of, I know it's 100 grams, but it doesn't feel like it. It's really squishy, really fluffy. Absolutely perfect for anybody who's looking to make hats, sweaters, gloves. It's a beautiful 100% merino. So next up, we have our worsted weight base, my personal preference, of course. Get this one twisted up here a little bit. Now, this is a little bit of a different dye style for me. Like normally, when I'm doing colors, I try and put the same color on top of itself. I'm really excited to see how this one swatches up. We'll do that next. This is our worsted weight base, 100% merino, same as our chunky weight base. Definitely soft and silky, absolutely beautiful. Superwash, of course, so it's got a little bit of drape to it. Absolutely stunning base to work with, if I do say so myself. Now this here is our DK weight base, which is an 80/20 merino nylon, and I can tell you right now that blue is really coming through in the DK weight base. It looks amazing. When I saw the fingering weight, it was, I'm not going to use the word faded. Faded's not the right word. It was a little bit more towards the dark side of things as compared to the other 3 bases. So not 100% sure why, but it is what it is. Sometimes the bases don't die the same. Sometimes they're exactly the same. It just depends. It's still got a lot of that blue in it. See if I can't showcase that a little bit here in the light box. We'll go there next, but this is our fingering weight base, which is an 80/20 merino nylon, exactly the same as the DK weight base. Superwash, of course. Get that pushed in, nice and clean, absolutely beautiful. So, fingering weight up first, we got a lot of black, and that blue is kind of faded towards the gray side of things. You can see on the DK weight, we've got a lot of that bright, brilliant blue that kind of came through. It's like the black hit and struck a little bit harder, and so there wasn't as much black bleeding into the blue. It happens. It's, you know, when you're working with hand-dyed yarns, things don't always go exactly the way you want it. But that colorway is still absolutely stunning on that fingering weight base. It's just not as brilliant blue as I expected, which is what we're seeing on the other weights. So worsted weight was up beside that. It's got that exact same look as the DK. And then we've got our chunky weight base, which has still got that bright blue in it. I know it's not showcased here very well. We kind of got the black sitting up front, but we definitely got the blue in the fingering weight. Like you can see, it's there. It's definitely there. But these three here, they really pop. And there's that blue in that chunky weight, of course. So there we have it, all four side by side into the swatch machine. Now, you can see me using a drill. I don't suggest you use a drill on the swatch machine for sure. Manufacturer says that's probably not the best idea, but we can get like 44-ish stitches per minute when we're using the drill. And for me, that is a huge time saver. I would spend hours upon hours trying to work this up myself. So the Addy Express and a drill is definitely my go-to. This blue isn't really popping in this light as much as I want it to. I'm going to throw it in the light box. You're going to see the difference here. This one is really quite muted, but look at that. Different lighting, different effects. So that was just basically fluorescent lighting up above. This is natural light, 5,000 degrees Kelvin, if you will. And that blue really, really pops. I love how there's no real patterning going on, so I kind of like this. It's like a highly variegated yarn, except we didn't dye it with the zigzags like we usually would. So it's kind of cool to, you know, get into the pots and experiment like that. We might do a little bit of blue over top of blacks, or vice versa, some more colors that way in the future, just to see if we can't keep that variegation going the way we want it to. So going to take a step back. I've got this on the Umbrella Swift here. I want to show basically everything that I'm doing. I don't like hiding stuff, right? I want you guys to be able to see the Swift, see the caker, see the speed it's going. I just, you know, show the whole process to the best of my abilities. So took a step back. I know I'm kind of in the way of the camera here, but I'll get out of the way in a second here and let you guys actually see what's going on. I am struggling here a little bit. I'm standing the wrong way. Usually I'm on the other side of the caker here. Everything's kind of backwards and over and above, but got it in here. We're just going to pull this a little tighter, make sure it holds. There we go. All right, so when we're starting up our caker, we always go nice and slow. I don't want to speed it up. I don't want there to be any jerking. I want to make sure that everything is coming off that Swift nice and smoothly, which it definitely is. And look at that cake. Oh, so satisfying. I love watching this process. I really do. Seeing that Swift spin. Now, the cool thing is, as the cake gets bigger, that Swift really picks up some speed. Like, look at it. Look at it rocking there. Just absolutely ripping. It's crazy. I didn't actually touch the speed of the caker in any way, shape, or form. That's just the fact that the cake's larger. Therefore, it's taking more yarn off the Umbrella Swift. So, all done. Get that off there. We got a couple strands poking out. Not a big deal. We'll just tuck those into the center. A little bit of a, there. Nice and clean. Exactly the way I want it. Get this wrapped up, and it looks like the dye actually saturated really, really well through the entire skein. So, this was our DK weight base, actually. So we can really see that saturation is perfect through the entire cake. I'm not seeing anything really jumping out at me. There's no oversaturation on the outside or the inside. Just it's nice and even all the way across the cake. Absolutely beautiful. Love it so much. There we go. Is that not pretty? I don't know. On to my favorite part of these videos, which is the pairings. First thing we're going to work with is the variegated yarn. So we've got I'm Turtly Fine up first. Up beside that, I've got one of our newer Christmas colorways. This one's called Silent Night. We've talked about that just a couple weeks ago, I think. When we released it, we did a video on that one. So that one is absolutely stunning. I love it, love it, love it, love it. Beside that, we've got Blessed Bluebird, which is actually one of my older colorways. It's been around for probably a good year now, I expect. And it is a very popular colorway. I didn't want to go completely blue on this, so I wanted to throw a little pop of color in here. I thought, maybe we could do a blue side of the fade and then maybe a purple side of the fade. Just kind of push it that direction. So up first, we have Twilight's Glow in the center here, and beside that, we have Neon Nights. So it really kind of pushes that blue and that purple together. Up beside that, we have You Give Me Butterflies, which kind of pulls just a little bit of blue in there. It's got a tiny hint of purple. I know it's not really coming through in this video, but it is definitely there. Well, it's coming through a little bit. Like you can see basically right there. That's the purple, right? So we've got this purple streak that kind of goes through the entire skein. It kind of pops up here and there. It really just kind of pulls that blue together, and it's just got that nice hint of purple with that little bit of golden yellow chestnut goodness that goes along with it. So that is probably my favorite 4 skeins to take and go with this colorway. If you're looking to go to the blue side, I would look at that Silent Night and Blessed Bluebird. But those 3 with the purple are absolutely stunning. Now, on to the semi-solids. Let's look at up first, Midnight, which is probably one of my favorite blues of all time. It's just a nice, dark, rich blue. And then on the other side, we have dark blue, actually, which isn't as blue as Midnight, but it's definitely a darker blue. These 3 side by side, absolutely beautiful together. I think if I was looking at 3 skeins, I would maybe substitute out the dark blue with the charcoal, but yeah, to be honest, any one of these 3 really kind of pulls it together. We could also go with the baby blue, which is actually a nice light blue. It's really, really beautiful. Kind of, I wouldn't go as far to say it's a pastel, but it really matches up with all of these colors, really. Like you can mix and match any of these, and I think they would come out absolutely stunning. If you were looking for a little pop of color, whoops, let's kind of get those reset. Push too hard here. Didn't know my own strength. There we go. Nice and pretty. If I was looking for a little pop of color, I would probably go with grape juice. Like purples and blues and blacks, they really play very, very well together. I don't think this is too far outside of this combo. If you were looking for a little pop of color, that would be the direction I go. It is now time for that big reveal, of course. So we've got I'm Turtly Fine with its blacks and blues. Of course, there is a swatch available on our website, last photo of every single listing, and there's that big reveal. The deep blue sea, and my little turtle friend kind of being all turtly. I'm Turtly Fine, and I'm turtly thankful you guys stopped by. I hope to see you again soon.